had so many people asking me why I don't love RFK Jr. So I'm going to list a few reasons why I'm not an RFK Jr. fan, but just know that there's actually more reasons than this, okay? RFK Jr. spreads a lot of misinformation, and he spreads misinformation that has been thoroughly debunked for a really long time. And what that does is that it discredits everything he says. So that makes me upset as someone who talks a lot about PFAS, the toxic forever chemical, microplastics, glyphosate and pesticides and endocrine disrupting chemicals, because he ignores decades of science on vaccines. I don't know if I can even say vaccines and if that's going to get censored. So I'm going to say it. If it gets censored, whatever. But because he propagates so much misinformation on vaccines and ignores decades of science that debunks the things that he says, it discredits everything that he also says about PFAS and microplastics. And mind you, we already have so much propaganda from the plastics manufacturers, the big oil essentially, saying that microplastics and PFAS and all of that is safe, that I don't need another person who's on my side discrediting that information. Does everyone want more oversight and safety with vaccines? Yeah, totally. But I want more oversight and safety on everything. He keeps saying one thing about vaccines that is misinformation. It discredits everything he says about vaccine safety. And that is frustrating to me. But enough about that topic. He has started trying to take credit for things that the Biden administration has done, which is weird. This has now happened a few times. Back in 2022, the Biden administration, as part of the bipartisan infrastructure bill, they took tons of money to invest in removing lead pipes from children's schools and just drinking water supplies. They switched over thousands of them all over the country. But at the beginning of the year, Trump canceled the remainder of those grants, right? But then look at this headline from just this week. Oh, they're going to be removing lead from drinking water. Yeah, that's because Biden was doing it. You canceled it, but now you picked up the project where he left off, and now you're taking credit for it. Another big example is food dyes. FDA under Biden started banning food dyes last year. This headline is from the beginning of January, before the Trump administration went into office, right? But just over the past few weeks, I have gotten so many people, including my MAGA family members, saying RFK Jr. just totally banned artificial food dyes. And no, he didn't. So how these things get banned is not like a ban because the FDA doesn't have the authority to do that. Instead, they do what's called a voluntary phase out, where they work with manufacturers to ensure that they're not using these chemicals anymore. And typically this is like a few years in the works as these companies work through the current inventory they have. And then at the very end of that, the FDA will say, okay, you can't use it anymore, right? So it's not like starting today, it's banned. It's takes a few years. So the Biden administration already started that. And so all of these headlines that we've seen recently from RFK Jr. about banning food dyes, that's something that the Biden administration already started.